Hello, and welcome to another Sinister Sunday. Because we're so close to New Year's Eve, let me tell you some stories about spirits who especially like to haunt during that time of year. 'Twas the night before New Year's, and all through the house not a living creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Yet the spirits were there, running amuck. Should old acquaintances be forgot and never be brought to mind? Old Lang Syne, Robert Burns' 1788 poem, would forever immortalize these words in the English psyche. On December 31st, these words are chanted in the streets, homes, and bars of jolly revelers to welcome the new year. A poem of remembrance to honor the past year while ushering in the coming year. It is one of the many traditions people worldwide practice as a transition into the new year. The spirits of the old years and years long gone roam among us during these times. Let me tell you about the lady in red who haunts the Drake Hotel during New Year's. The Windy City's Drake Hotel was labeled one of the finest hotels in the world when it opened in 1920. Built in 1919 by two brothers, John B. Drake and Tracy Corey Drake, it opened its doors on New Year's Eve 1920 to 2,968 of Chicago's finest and wealthiest citizens. Tickets were not cheap at $10 a head, the equivalent to $150 in today's money. 350 waiters served a midnight dinner, and 4 orchestras provided entertainment. Cheerfulness ensued in full force, but for some, this night would be their last. The spirit of a mysterious woman in red haunts the 10th floor of the Drake. Her story is a tragic one, and like many others, she visited the Drake and never left. Many have seen her, and some have been lucky enough to capture her apparition on film floating through the hallways. The Roaring Twenties was a decade famous for luxuries and indulgences. In accordance came some controversial murders, and that night at the Drake was no exception. The elegant dinner and lively crowd seemed to have awakened some more primal instincts in one particular young couple. Around midnight, the young couple split. It was that time, the time of the traditional New Year's Eve midnight kiss. A kiss came across to the lips of the young gentleman lover, but not from his female counterpart. He wandered off, presumably drunk despite the fact that alcohol was illegal, and met another New Year's Eve partygoer. His poor broken-hearted lover, now most assuredly single, was so distraught she threw herself out of the 10th floor window. Today she is seen by many visitors. Many of them see her roaming around the 10th floor of the Drake, forever lost in the glee of the new year. The suicide does not appear in any of the newspapers, which seems to be very suspicious. Yet her spirit always appears wearing a red 1920s styled dress. The Windy City isn't named as such for its high-octane winds, but for its deep-pocketed politicians. Perhaps the Drake brothers kept the suicide a secret, with their only incentive that night being to protect their luxurious hotel. The only way we'd be able to know for sure is if we had a time machine, or the lady in red starts talking. The Drake isn't the only hotel who had a disturbing New Year's Eve event. Hotels often serve as venues for large events such as New Year's celebrations, but even the smallest locales can play host to many merry revelers, past and present. A bed and breakfast called The Inn on Main Street in Weaverville, North Carolina, is one such place, Every New Year's Eve, guests report the same unusual and supernatural activities. Some activity includes the back door, continuously opening and closing as if some drunken partygoer isn't sure if they had enough champagne. Pictures on the wall sound as if they crashed to the ground around midnight, but upon inspection by startled guests, all the pictures are still hanging on the wall. The home was built 100 years ago by a doctor. Blood stains remain from long ago in the bathroom of one of the rooms. Impossible to sand away, it is believed to be from an operation gone wrong in which the patient moved on to the other side. But every New Year's Eve, that comes into question. While some spirits come back to haunt us on New Year's Eve, we often have to be most concerned about the living. Too much champagne and too many people can lead to unruly behavior. For example, the case of 23-year-old Christian Gomez, who on New Year's Eve 2014 decapitated his mother after she asked him to move a few boxes. Christian Gomez, who was arrested in 2019 for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, had a history of mental illness. After he was arrested, only 2 blocks away from his former home, he told authorities he planned the murder for 2 days. The most disturbing part of it all, his mugshot features an ear-to-ear smile. The holidays can be rough for many people, but let's hope it never goes this far for anyone else. So make sure, Squad Fam, this New Year's Eve you stay safe, whether you're going to a big venue or just to the garage of your house. Thank you for watching another Sinister Sunday. If you like this content, check out our playlist for Sinister Sunday, and we'll have another one next week.